Hey guys, welcome to the Which Way podcast. I'm your host, Misty G, and today is Fuck It Friday. What are we going to talk about today? I bet you really want to know what we're going to talk about. It's trauma. Isn't that exciting? So exciting. So listen, something that kept coming up this week, and I know you can't see me right now because I'm doing only audio for this podcast at the moment, but I am raising my hand because I am actually guilty of this as well. But something I want to talk about or really highlight for me as I'm going through this process is the phrase that a lot of people like to say when they think they're being helpful and or not think that they're being helpful, but like maybe even are actually trying to really be helpful is when they say, um, your trauma or what you're going through is only making you stronger. What you're experiencing right now is part of what you have to go through, for you to become the person that you're supposed to become, and it's only going to make you stronger. And I have been guilty of saying that, and I've usually been guilty of saying that because I lack the better words to say something else, and I'm trying to figure out what can I say to this person that is going through something that is horrible right now that I can't relate to because I haven't been through that, or that I can relate to but I don't want to put it on myself, or like what are the words that you say to try to comfort somebody that's going through something, and so you're grasping for the right thing to say, and then the phrase like this will only make you stronger comes out. um Honestly, even though I've been guilty of saying that, you know what? Fuck that. That's what I want to say. Fuck that. That's not true. It is not true for me. I'm sure it's not true for a lot of people. And I know that some people would argue and say, look, whatever it is that makes you stronger, whenever you come out of it, you wouldn't know about it if you didn't have the trauma to experience it. So it's all going to come back to the trauma makes you stronger. I completely disagree. And let me explain why. For example, have severe trauma to my right arm. I used to love riding horses. I still do. I just haven't done it in a really long time. But I got thrown off a horse several times in my life. But the last time I got thrown off, I landed on my elbow to try to catch myself for some reason because I'm an idiot. And I cracked my humerus, my upper arm, in half. So I just snapped it like a twig and I broke my arm. I immediately had to get a metal plate put in my arm. It was done incorrectly. So the bones were what you call a non-union, which means that my arm was only being held together by a metal plate. The bones never touched, which means they never fused back together. So I lived like that for 7 years. So I literally had a broken arm for 7 years that was just being held together by a metal plate and a few screws. Um, that trauma did not make me uh, throw a ball faster. Have you ever seen that movie? What's that movie called again? Oh my God, it was a great movie when I was a kid, like in the 90s. What the hell was it? Rookie? I don't remember. The kid who like fell and hurt his arm or shoulder and he was playing in the major leagues because whatever. Anyway, clearly didn't take my Adderall today, but that trauma did not make me stronger. I actually couldn't throw a ball. I looked like a goofball because I couldn't throw one. My arm would go crooked whenever I'd put it a certain, distance back. And so it would kind of go crooked and kind of fall off to the side on its own. It's like it had a mind of its own because it was fucking broken. And then when I had the surgery to repair it, I got another plate put in it and I got additional screws put in it so that it would be held together and fused together. And is it better now? Yeah, sure. Can I throw a ball? Yeah, I can throw a ball. Can I throw it straight? I mean, probably not, but that's not my arm's fault. That's just me not being able to throw a ball. But I can't throw it as fast as I could before. My arm's not as strong as it was before. It actually hurts a lot more. The trauma did not help me. It did not make me stronger. So as far as trauma making you physically stronger, nah, I don't think so. But let's talk about emotional trauma. If physical trauma doesn't make you any stronger, why would we think emotional trauma does? I think emotional trauma just desensitizes us to what that trauma is. Does that really make you feel stronger? Because you don't feel towards something anymore. If somebody's repeatedly lying to you over and over and over again, and you experience that as a trauma, they're lying to you and the next person lies to you and the next person lies to you. If all these people are coming into your life and they're lying to you, you sort of start becoming desensitized to it. You don't trust people anymore. You don't hold anybody accountable for their words. When somebody tells you, I'm going to do this for you, you're like, yeah, right. And you're not disappointed when they don't do it because you already expected them to lie. But does that mean you're stronger? No, it means you're desensitized to it. I don't think that means you're stronger. I don't think that you're stronger at all. And it's the same for any type of trauma out there. Trauma has made me a people pleaser. It's made me let people walk all over me. It's made me try to be a certain way for certain people so that they don't abandon me, so that they don't leave me. It's like, why am I not good enough for people to stick around, instead of realizing that it's the wrong people and they don't need to stick around. I just, I really don't think that trauma, makes us stronger. And I know that there's a lot of argument out there for that, but I hate that phrase because I feel like for the people that are really going through it, that don't feel strong, that don't feel like they're getting through it, it just adds more to what's wrong with me, that the trauma is not making me stronger. I think that if there are people out there that do feel like they're stronger with the things that they've been through, like if they think, well, I went through this and this and this, and I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for that. I think those types of people were strong before the trauma. They were resilient before the trauma, when they bounced back from it. And I think that by saying that trauma makes you stronger really lets a lot of other people down when they don't feel strong. They don't feel like they're getting through it. I know um, that I am strong. I know that I have bounced back from everything that I have been through. But if I'm honest with you, I've always been a fucking badass. Like, I've always been this way since I was a kid. Trauma didn't do this for me. Uh, Anybody in my life that was a part of my life, they didn't do this for me. I did this for me because I was already strong. None of this has made me who I am. I made me who I am. I put forth that effort. And that's the difference between the people that are the same age as me and they're choosing a different path and me. We go through the same traumas. Their trauma didn't make them stronger. So why would we say trauma makes you stronger? It's not the trauma that makes you stronger. It's you. And the sooner that you realize that, that's when you start coming out of that. That's when you start going, you know what, bitch, it's me. I'm going to bounce back from this. You know, I feel like there's so many different things out there. There's so many different opinions, that people just lean on to try to make excuses. I feel like it sort of comes across as a failure for some people that are going through something that don't feel like they're stronger. For the people that feel like, this keeps happening. I keep going through this stuff. I'm experiencing this stuff. I don't feel stronger. I feel weak. I feel this. I feel that. By saying to them, your trauma only makes you stronger, it's setting them up for failure because they're waking up waiting like, why am I not stronger? What's wrong with me? Why am I not this? Why am I not that? It's not the trauma. We got to stop going into that. It's like for me specifically, when I found out some, really bad news a couple of weeks ago, I can't go into detail right now, but when I found out a couple of weeks ago, some really bad news, the first time that I saw my best friend in person after I found out that news, when she came over to my house, she walked in and I just looked at her and she just opened her arms for me and hugged me. And I immediately just fell apart in her arms. And if I thought for 1 second that her tiny little body could hold me, I probably would have collapsed all the way. But there's no way. If I did that, we'd both go down. There's no way she could do that. But if I thought she could, I would have. And I just let go completely. And in that moment, did I really feel strong in that moment? No, I didn't feel strong. Was my trauma making me stronger? No, it was breaking me down. But you know what did make me feel strong? Her love. I felt a genuine love from my best friend. For one of the very few times in my life, I felt a genuine love from another human being, and that held me together. That made me feel strong enough in that moment to be able to let go of anything I needed to let go of, to be able to allow myself to feel the weakest that I needed to feel in that moment and know that it was okay, that I didn't have to hold it together. I didn't have to keep my shit together at that moment. You know, I think that a lot of different things for different people is what makes us stronger. And we have to get away from these band-aid statements that we think is going to help everybody. For me, what makes me stronger? Me. I look at myself and I'm like, you're a badass. Like, you're a badass. And I know that to some people, they're probably like, I can't do that. That sounds so conceited. But I mean, I've been through some shit. I've been through some shit, and it was my decision to bounce back from it. It was my decision to come out of that. It was my decision to choose which path I was going to take. It was me. The people that I have in my life now, the good people, the solid people, the ones that are there for me, the ones that love me, and the ones that are genuine about their feelings towards me, those people began gravitating towards me when I started living that kind of life. And I started living that kind of life because I made the decision to be strong enough to do so. When you go through things, you go through traumas, you have decisions that you can make. You can decide which path to go down. Somebody breaks your heart, screws you over, you can start drinking and partying all the time. Forget about it, right? Just drink them away. Just drink them away. No big deal. So you can start drinking it away. You can start drinking and driving. You can potentially, take somebody's life, take your own. You have a choice. The trauma brings you to that choice, but it's not the trauma that makes you the strongest. And I know I keep saying that, but it's like I really want to get away from, you know, it makes you stronger. No, no, Karen, it fucking doesn't. If anybody's listening to this whose name is Karen, I'm really sorry. But it's like it's just it's different for everybody, and I want there to be something else other than these blanket statements that try to make people feel bad because they're not in a certain place that they should be. They've been through a lot of trauma. Why aren't they stronger? They should be stronger. You should be able to get through this. You should be able to deal with this. No, not necessarily. And yes, I say, it was my friend's love that got me through it. Maybe there's people out there that don't have that around them right now. Maybe they don't, because like I said, there was a time in my life that I didn't have that. And it wasn't until I started making the conscious decision to live a certain way that the people that were right for me started gravitating towards me. You have to make that decision. Based on the trauma that you've been through, what path do you want to take? Like, I feel like in my life, literally it feels like if it's not one thing, it's another. It's literally like, I know that my friend Destiny is going to love listening to this if she listens to it, because I keep saying literally. She loves that. It's her favorite. But you have something that you experience, something that happens, you get through it, and you think, okay, I'm going to start living now. Now is the time to live. I made it through that storm. It's sunny now. Well, another storm's going to come. We're not excluded from additional storms just because we've already been through a certain number. I think that what I would personally do if somebody was talking to me and somebody was asking me, if you don't think that it's trauma that makes you stronger, then what is it? And again, I think it's different for everybody, but the one, if I had to pick a blanket statement, the one thing I would say is that therapy helps. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be like, nope, that's off the table, not doing that. Um, to which obviously you can't make anybody do that, but I would still encourage, give it a shot. And I don't just mean one visit. I don't just mean 2 or 3. Sometimes it takes a few visits to really start going, okay, now I'm seeing a difference. Now I'm seeing this, because you have to understand that this therapist doesn't know you, and they're going to take a few visits to get into the questions, to get into your past, to start pinpointing where the issues are. You may not even be able to specifically tell them what's wrong. There may be things wrong that you don't even know are wrong. That's their job. They help you with that. Therapy, journaling. Journaling is a big one. If you don't like writing, use a computer and type it. If you don't like typing, get a voice thingy. I don't know. Do a podcast. Even if it's crappy the first few episodes. Even if it sucks and you've only got like 3 listeners. Who gives a shit? Fuck it, right? Do it. Trauma is none of us escape it. Some of us experience a lot more than others, that's for sure. Some of us experience the same trauma, but on different levels. It affects us all differently. I have had a few people in my life where I'm aware of certain traumas in their past. Obviously, not all of it, because I didn't grow up with them. I didn't live with them. I wasn't there. I only know what they told me. But knowing what I know, I can also see the path that they've chosen for themselves. And I can tell you that while they act strong, and while they say, oh yeah, my past made me who I am today, it's actually not a great thing because of the path that they've chosen for their life. It's up to you. It's up to you. I didn't start down a great path, I'll tell you that. I don't know if I went over that in any previous podcasts from early on from last year, but I did not start down a great path. I made the conscious decision to do better and be better. I struggle with depression. I struggle with anxiety. Oh, my cat's at the door. I struggle with PTSD because of the things that I've been through and the things that I've experienced. A lot of people have experienced the same thing. A lot of people are experiencing depression. A lot of people are experiencing anxiety. I think that on one hand, it's kind of weird in the age of social media, because I feel like with social media, there's still like sort of this stigma attached to talking about depression and talking about anxiety and talking about PTSD and what you experience and what you go through. I feel like a lot of people still don't like to talk about it, and they feel like it makes them a bad person if they are going through it. And then I feel like there's also, on the flip side to that, a lot of people who are self-diagnosed anxiety, self-diagnosed PTSD, or any other, disorder that's out there. And so you kind of have like this one pool who is suffering from that, but feels like there's such a stigma attached to it that they won't get the help that they need for it. And so they essentially live their life suffering in it. And then you have another, group of people that are getting help for it, who are trying to help other people get help for it. And then you've got this other group of people who's like, oh yeah, I have that too. You know what I mean? And, maybe the traumas that they've experienced may not be as deep or as traumatic as some of the things that other people have been through. But to them in their lives, it was the worst thing that happened to them. And so that they have been through it. But I feel like I am a strong person, but I'm also strong because of, I feel spiritually connected to the women that I come from. and I feel like they're all strong. I think one day I'll share some of my grandmother's story, and that might piece some of the puzzle together for you guys. But I come from a long line of really badass women, and I think it's just in my blood to be that way. And I think that because I chose the path that I chose, and because I chose to get help, and I chose to go down this, direction of healing, and helping others, that it has drawn people into my life that are deserving of me and that I deserve to have. And because of them, I am also stronger. I think it's me. It starts with me, and then it's the people around me that have made me stronger, not my trauma. And I hope that that makes a lot of sense to somebody else out there that needs to hear it, that may not be feeling so great right now. And I hope if there's other people out there that feel like their trauma doesn't make you stronger, that you know that somebody agrees with you and you're not the only one. Fuck trauma. Fuck it. I feel I'm at the point now at 43 years old where I'm like, okay, I've had enough now. I've had enough. Like, can I just live life now and like let the worst thing happen be that I run out of gas and I have to call my very loving girlfriend, whoever that may be in the future, to come pick me up on the side of the road. Like, let that be the worst thing that happens to me from now on. Right? Yeah. Trauma doesn't make you stronger. You do. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you want, subscribe. Let me know what kind of topics you'd love for me to talk about. And hopefully I'll get better at this. Thanks for listening to Fuck It Friday with Misty. I'll see you later.